Hello and welcome to another Mixed Media Monday. I'm Eric Stott, and as usual, I'm here to make a little piece of artwork and share it with you. So anyway, so today I kind of was thinking about something. I'm rediscovering the artwork of Jospeh Cornell. He's really known for his boxes, and he used to, he lived in New York, and he would go into the city and just really go through a lot of the antique shops and secondhand shops and find things to use. And so he's really well known for that. But the thing that really kind of stands out for me is that, number one, the simplicity of some of the things that he made, and then also sort of like the mysterious quality, just there's a quality about it that it's like, anyway, it's hard for me to describe, but it's kind of like when you look at his work, he doesn't tell you exactly what he means, you know. And so there's a lot of room for interpretation, and so I was kind of revisiting that and kind of thinking about some of the stuff some of his stuff, and kind of thinking about how I might apply that to what I do. So anyway, I've been kind of thinking about that the last couple of days, and so I'm going to kind of maybe use some ideas that I've been thinking about based on Jospeh Cornell. So if you don't know who Jospeh Cornell is, highly recommend looking up his artwork. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So I've got my 4x4-inch piece of paper, got some brushes, got some paint, and I'm just going to kind of start with a background. And I think I'm going to use this ochre. I'm drawn to like the ochres and the yellows and browns a lot. I like that, the kind of those earth tones. Also, I feel like it kind of gives it an old kind of look. But anyway, I just kind of want to start out putting down a little bit of paint, just getting a little bit of something going on. Maybe I'll pick up a little bit of this red oxide and do a little bit of splattering. And so one of the things that I was noticing with the Cornell work is that there's a simplicity to a lot of his work, but the meaning, the kind of the message behind the work isn't so clear. So it's actually kind of creates this really interesting thing. Like, yeah, the artwork is pretty straightforward, pretty simple, but then there's this meaning that's a little bit more ambiguous. Anyway, let me go ahead and dry this. And so, yeah, I was very intrigued by it. I got into his work a long time ago, and he's always kind of been an influence, but just here recently I decided, like, let me go back and revisit his work and kind of see what I can kind of take away from it. And so he does a lot with squares and rectangles, with grids. Like I said, he's really well known for his boxes, and that was kind of the bulk of his work, but he also did a lot with collage. So I'm not trying to mimic him. I'm not trying to like copy him, just trying to think about some of the ideas. And I think that idea of simplicity, and here recently I was looking through my current journal, a nice big visual journal that I've been keeping, and I came across a 2-page spread that I'd started, And the more I looked at it, the more I really liked it, because there wasn't a whole lot going on. There was just some very simple ideas. And one of the things is that I can get really complicated with what I do. And so one of the reasons why I'm kind of doing this weekly Mixed Media Monday, kind of forcing myself to only work for a half an hour, where I have to kind of work quickly and not get caught up in a lot of the detail and the complexity. And yeah, so anyway, I saw this spread that I did, and I was like, you know what, there's something really interesting about that I really liked. And so, like, again, kind of that simplicity, going back, how can I still use the techniques and the ideas that I use all the time, and go back and create something that maybe is a little bit more ambiguous, has a little bit of mystery to it. All right, so there's that. I'm gonna hit this up with the hair dryer. Pull out some maps. I love using maps as the collage elements. Thinking about having that go all the way through. I'm gonna hit that with the hair dryer just to dry that glue a little bit quicker. Like I was saying, uh, I've studied Cornell and read about him, and have several books on him, and just really have always loved his work, but just haven't really kind of visited with his work lately. So I'm trying to like go back and kind of think about, kind of just go back to his work and kind of look at it with fresh eyes. Or, it's like it's been years and years and years since I really studied his work. So maybe going back and trying to really assess kind of where, like, what did he do? How did he create these things that really were pretty magical? Okay. Got this Shiraz, which is kind of a reddish violet color. Just gonna put a couple circles here. as I've mentioned before in this series, that I really look at these as just a way to kind of show up every week and make something, um, with that idea that, like, okay, 30 minutes, got to keep it pretty simple, can't get really caught up in a lot of complexity. And then that idea that, like, okay, then I can take those the notions, the ideas, the things that I've been discovering with them, and work it into maybe some bigger work, kind of seeing how those ideas can feed into other things. Just a way to keep making, keep creating. And sometimes I really like the stuff that comes out of it. Sometimes it's like, oh, that didn't quite work. I pulled out some bingo numbers, bingo cards. I've used these before, so they're pretty cut up. But I like the random numbers. So that's what I'm gonna work with. It sounds like my wife's home. Definitely don't need a doorbell when we have the dogs. All right, let's see. All right, I want to bring a little bit of contrast. This color is called Sienna Gold, and looks kind of orangish here. And when it goes down, it looks kind of dark. That's the thing with the Inktense pencils. I've said this before, that it's really hard to know exactly what they are, what they look like until you get water on them. I've used these so much that I know what it's going to do. So this is going to turn into a really nice yellow, real bright kind of yellowish golden color. And I like it. It contrasts with that Shiraz color that I use, that reddish violet color, that red wine color. And I could have used some of the paint up here or something, but the nice thing with using the Sienna Gold is that the pencil leaves a little bit of a texture behind. So it's not, totally smooth. You're right. Hit that with the hair dryer. Okay, got my black pen and just want to go around the circles a little bit. Just going to use the ink to kind of tie things together. Also kind of just define some spaces. So this is going to really define the edges of the circles. I think I'll do around the numbers as well. And then just add some other lines and other embellishments with it. I think I'll use a thinner tip. Yeah, I'm not sure if I want to do anything else to it. Just looking at it, I'm like, it's not, it's all right. Um, I'm not like, wow, amazing. But anyway, so I think I'm gonna call this one done. Just, again, just trying to do something different, trying to experiment, and this gives me perfect opportunity to try something. And like I said, if it's something that where I'm like, oh, I really like this, or there, maybe there's certain parts of this that I really like, then I can take that and use it on some other pieces. But yeah, there we go. There's another piece done. So I hope you enjoyed that. Just a quick little piece. Like I said, I'm not 100% happy with it. Maybe there's some things that I can do to make it better, or maybe there are things that I can take from it where I'm like, oh, I like how this looked, or I like how that worked, and then I can use that as I move forward. But again, trying not to be attached to like, oh, I got to make a masterpiece every time. It's just about keeping in that practice. And I really feel, art is a practice. It's not about making a masterpiece every time. It's about, let me just sit down and start making stuff. And then, sometimes you hit on something and it works great. Other times you try stuff and you're like, I kind of missed, but you know what? I'm practicing, getting better. Um, yeah. So anyway, appreciate you being here. I appreciate you tuning in. And as always, happy creating.